The southeastern corner of the Royal Botanic Gardens, Victoria, is on Bunurong country, and it's the home of the newly completed Drylands Garden. Here's a familiar face. We've toned up. We've toned up in the same colours.
Lovely to see you.
I'm catching up with an old mate of mine because this just so happens to be one of her favourite spots in Melbourne. Jane, you know these gardens here better than anyone else I know, and they're pretty much part of your backyard. What used to be here in this section of the gardens?
Well, over the past years, I've sat here many, many times in the seats and just read a book or just listened to the birds, and it was literally just lawn or grass with some of these beautiful trees like the blue gum there. I thought, this is a bit of a wasted space, but it needed just a little bit more oomph in it. And one day I happened to see Andrew Laidlaw, who's the landscape architect here at the Botanic Gardens, and I said to him, hey, what about doing something a bit more exciting? So he came up with a plan for a drylands project. Every plant here has been carefully chosen from regions with climates like Melbourne's hotter, drier future, not only as part of the Botanic Gardens climate succession plan, but also to inspire the gardeners of tomorrow. It's an experimental area, but Andrew then thought we could make it an education area, and that really came to my heart because I used to be a teacher. So a group of people got together, gave some money, including me, and we built this, or the gardens built it, and there's such enthusiasm about it. I think the thing that has created the most enthusiasm is this wildflower meadow.
Yeah.
Just a sea of colour. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful. They're the everlasting rhodanthes. And then in amongst, there's little purple flowers and there's little swainsonias and all sorts of little things, little yellow everlastings. And it just gets people to come in because of that wow factor. The new garden covers 2,500 square metres with a gentle winding path that invites you in. The background to this whole garden is lots of mature trees. And, you know, there's some really good examples. Say, that one there is just lovely.
Yeah, the Angophora.
Yeah, that's one of your favourites.
It's interesting to see it in Melbourne because not being on a windswept ridge, it hasn't got all the bends and twists. It's quite straight.
But look at the trunk. I love the colour of it.
Yeah.
And then you've got some really fine fig trees with big buttress roots. And then under that, you've got some lower growing things like this Phibalium.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourites, Phibalium squamulosum. That sounds like a disease, doesn't it?
Is it curable?
It is curable if you grow it, because it's such a pretty thing. And then you've got all the lovely stuff at the bottom.
What's this ground cover here that looks, it's almost like a grass?
It does. Well, it's actually, you can see it's an Eremophila. Everyone knows the emu bushes. Yeah. This is a real prostrate plant. It's even got dear little seed pods there.
Yeah.
Aren't they gorgeous?
Yeah, they look like little eggs.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's very exciting because some of these things people don't know about. You know, I didn't know that this existed. That's terrific, yeah.
Yeah.
The Drylands Garden holds some very rare species. Some are even critically endangered. Seeds, specimens and expertise have been gathered from across Australia, entrusted by Botanic Gardens, native nurseries, seed banks and universities. Because many are growing out of their climate range, the garden is a living laboratory, collecting knowledge to help guide the future.
Signage is such a big part of storytelling, and in a setting like this, you've then got these burnt trunks.
It's very dramatic, aren't they?
Yeah, and it catches your eye. It draws you up here.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of giving a nod to how important bushfires are in the whole scheme of growing native plants, because our native plant landscape is so dependent on bushfires, and this is what these black trunks are sort of representing.
Yeah.
And there's some beautiful plants.
What's that massive yellow over there, Jane? Is it a pea?
It is. Yeah. It's a senna. They used to call it cassia, but it's a lovely plant, drought tolerant once it gets established.
Yeah.
But it's a beauty, isn't it? See that lovely soft yellow down there? That's a really nice plant. It's a catkin grevillea.
Yeah, and I can see that there through all of the different grasses, and they just create such a softness to draw your eye throughout the landscape.
It's very natural, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's also special to see the grey billy buttons growing here, as they're critically endangered. They're found in Victoria's shrinking grasslands.
There's another sitting circle surrounded by cycads and palms, And you can't miss this beautiful, tall, shining burrowang, which comes from sclerophyll forests on the east coast, around the Queensland-New South Wales border. It's slow growing, but it can eventually reach 7 metres tall. They produce huge cones up to 40 kilos, which are pollinated by native weevils.
There's some really special plants like that cabbage tree palm there. Isn't that spectacular?
Yeah, they run right up the coast and
Yeah.
I know them in Sydney and they're like a marker for the literal rainforest.
Where you are, that's right. And then I do like the Dorianthes. I think they're pretty
It's like
cool.
the Olympic torch.
Yeah, it is, that's right. This is just an area that's going to develop and really do, very, very nicely.
The Canetia coccinea is a hardy spreading ground cover from WA with a profusion of fuchsia and red flowers. Who said those colours don't go together? The words of Wiradjuri poet Dr. Janine Lane can be found around the garden in her art installation Seeds of Hope. There's also QR codes that you can scan to listen to soundscapes and interviews to dive deeper and learn more about the garden, as well as hear some of the poetry aloud.
Here we go, that's for you.
Yeah.
Okay, put it on.
Yuridu Marang, Yuandu Janine, Wiradjuri Yina, Marambi Jadi. We each have seeds of hope and seeds of fear inside us. We choose the ones we will nurture and grow.
That's nice, isn't it?
That's really nice.
Yeah, that's
It
good.
really is.
Very good.
Yeah.
This garden shows that protecting threatened plants is really about doing what you can. And so many people have contributed, whether it's with their time, their knowledge, creativity, or philanthropy. My hope is that the garden inspires more of those connections in visitors, that everyone can see the role they can play in caring for plants and for the planet that sustains us all.
So I noticed this plaque here, Jane. This space means a lot to you, doesn't it?
It does, because it's education, and the gardeners of the future will sit here and learn all about Australian native plants. And that's why this plaque with nurture nature and nature will nurture you. Now that's simple, but it's really true, isn't it? If we all lived by that, the whole world would be okay.
Feels like the perfect spot for you to let us in on a bit of news that you've decided.
I have, Costa, and it's time. I'm retiring, although I don't like that word. I am retiring from Gardening Australia, having done it for so many years, and it makes me feel really, really proud and humble, really. And it's been a pleasure for me for so many years to present what I do on the program. But it's time, and I will move on and do other things within the horticultural world and still see you and all the lovely faces on the telly. It'll be just lovely, but time's right.
Look, I know you're a no-fuss sort of
Yeah.
person, and the thing I want everyone at home to realise is that you've been making gardening television for 38 years,
Yeah.
and you're the only remaining presenter in the team that's been there since the first episode.
Yeah.
It really feels like the end of an era.
It could be. The Paleozoic era is finishing. No, but but it's been so delightful. But I just know that it's right. I look around what's happening in gardening at the moment, and there's such a lot of good things happening, with young people coming up and students learning all about horticulture and becoming gardeners themselves, and that's the really important thing. And if I can end with one last little thing, keep digging, keep putting plants in the ground, it doesn't matter, just keep doing it, and you'll get so much satisfaction, because it is a lovely, lovely vocation for me for so long, but also for anyone just as amateur gardeners to enjoy their garden.
Well, I just want to let you know that this episode is going to be an episode dedicated to you.
Ooh.
And to start the episode, we thought, what better place to kick it off than with your My Garden Path story. Is there anything about that story that comes to mind that was special?
I think the special thing was that gardening's lots of memories, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I always tell people, you make memories by what you plant in your garden, and you can pass them on to whoever's going to be looking at your garden down the track. And I think my mum and dad, of course, were so influential. Dad being the horticulturalist, the grower of citrus, mum being the very fine gardener she was, and just being able to show that sort of element. And also that when I started in the nursery all those years ago, 45 years ago, you know, pricking out little plants, and I had to cajole the person I was working for because most people didn't have women gardeners in their nurseries. So it was a bit of a trendsetter. Yeah.
You certainly have been, Jane. You've set a wonderful benchmark.
Thanks, Costa.
For generations.
Thank you.
And we're going to miss you.
Oh, I'm going to miss everyone too, but I'll still be watching. My eagle eye will be watching your hair and your beard and your costumes, and I'll still be watching, don't you worry. But it's been a joy for me because the team of Gardening Australia, people out there only watch us, but they don't realise that there's such a lot that goes behind. The sound people, the cameramen, the producers, all the horticulturalists that are behind it. And it's such a team effort. It's fantastic. So, hats off to them too. I'll miss them.